do what thou wilt. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of 7 Minutes with the Magus, featuring your host, Omega Logion. I am the Magus of the Aeon of MA, and I have come to utter a word, and that word is Katalysis. Katalysis is an ancient Greek word whose primary meaning is dissolution. This could be the dissolution of governments, or the dissolution of an army or a navy at the end of a war. In ancient Greece, most of the city-states didn't keep a standing army. So when a war broke out, you had to raise the army and gather the troops. And then when the war was finished, you sent the troops home. They went through their katalysis. And thus the word came to mean the cessation of hostilities, the resolution of conflicts, and then eventually it came to mean the end of things in general. That was the ancient definition of the word. The modern definition of the word katalysis is causing the acceleration of a chemical reaction by introducing a catalyst. So the way that works is you've got these substances, you want them to react. You introduce a catalyst. That makes the reaction go faster. Then when the reaction is finished, you can remove the catalyst and it's unchanged. That's the key. And then you have whatever substance you were trying to create. An analogy in human behavior would be the relationship between a therapist and their patient. A therapist guides them, gives them advice. The patient then has a breakthrough and they change their behavior in some way. Now they've got a new outcome. The therapist hasn't changed, presumably. Their life goes on the way it was because they're not the one trying to get the breakthrough. You are. And so the patient creates change, hopefully in accordance with their will. And that will be magic. Crowley's definition of magic was the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity with will. Now, the mystery of change is the mystery that is supposed to be taught by the Magus, and that's why I'm telling you what it is. Change occurring in conformity with will. Will is thelema, the word or logos of the Aeon of Horus. Change is katalysis, the word or logos of the Aeon of Maat. The two work hand in hand. The Aeon of Horus has evolved into the Aeon of Maat. There's no conflict between them. They work hand in glove. The word of the law is still thelema. Do what thou wilt is still the law. But we are trying to cause change to occur. And that's our job in the new Aeon. Now, the word katalysis is very efficacious in describing what will happen in the Aeon of Maat. Conflicts will be resolved. There will be a cessation of hostilities. There will be governments dissolved. There will be armies dissolved. There will be people's personas and egos dissolved. Lots of structures are going to go through katalysis. That's going to be the nature of this Aeon, regardless of how long it lasts. And a lot of that change is going to come from each and every one of us. Now, from the mathematical side and the occult side, the word katalysis is also very applicable. For example, if you divide katalysis by the golden ratio, you get 718, which is an important thelemic number. Divide 1162 by 718 and you get 1.6183, which is the golden ratio exact to 3 decimal places. 718, as you will recall, is the number mentioned in the Book of the Law. In chapter 3, verse 19, it says, that stele they shall call the abomination of desolation. Count well its name, and it shall be to you as 718. Now, of course, this is the famous Stele of Revealing, the magical talisman that Crowley and his wife Rose discovered in the Cairo Museum, Stele 666. Well, Crowley thought that the answer to that little riddle was the value of the Greek word stele was 52 plus 666 equals 718. Be that as it may, if you multiply that number by the golden ratio, you get 1162. Now, there's another really important mathematical fact about 1162. If you take a regular heptagon of 7 sides, and each side is exactly 166 long, then the full perimeter of the heptagon equals 1162. And the long diagonal of that heptagon, from this point to this one down here, skipping 2 corners, is almost exactly 373. .373 is the gematria of the word logos, which means word, speech, reason. Thelema is the logos of the Aeon of Horus. Katalysis is the logos of the Aeon of Maat. It embodies the logos. It embodies the idea of a logos. If you begin with logos 373 and you make that the diagonal of your heptagon, you will end up with a perimeter that equals 1162, the embodiment of the horizon of that logos. All you need is a word that equals 1162. That word is katalysis. We're going to talk about that word, the number 1162, the concept of logos, and of course the Aeon of Maat in many future episodes. Hope you'll stick with me. But until then, don't forget, love is the